Hey everybody, and welcome to Authors and Dragons, where a group of comedic fantasy writers get together and try to make it through a whole game of Pathfinder without accidentally dying. Let's see if we pull it off this week. As always, the odds do not look great.
Hi, I'm John Hartness, and I am playing Fandingo the Fantastical, a fabulous bard and stuff. I write the Bubba the Monster Hunter series of short stories, the Quincy Harker novellas, and the Black Knight Chronicle novels. Come see me at DragonCon, September something through the something.
Hi, I'm Joseph Brassi, and I will be playing Bjorg Bjornsson, Human Barbarian. I was one of the authors on the historical fantasy series The Mongoliad, and I just finished a novel named Glassblade.
Hi, I'm Rick Walteri. I'm playing Silas Kane, filthy slave to the great god Toreg, and I am the author of Bill the Vampire and Bigfoot Hunters.
Hi, I'm Robert Bevan. I'll be playing Klaus Richter. I write the Caverns and Creatures series of fantasy novels and short stories.
Hi, I am Rob Cruzy, and I am playing Kutharek the Lost, a surly dwarf barbarian, or not barbarian, cleric. I hang out with the barbarian, and I have written a number of humorous science fiction and fantasy novels, the most relevant of which is probably Disenchanted.
And I'm Drew Hayes. I'll be the GM of this group. I'm the author of Superpowered, Corpies, NPCs, and the Fred the Vampire Accountant series. And when last we left our intrepid, I guess we're going to call them heroes, but, I mean, you all listened to the last episode. You know how accurate that is. When last we left
It's what you got. I mean, it's the heroes you deserve, fuckers.
Yeah. When last we left our intrepid heroes, they had all bedded down to sleep and were woken in the middle of the night by the sounds of screams. And to see how everyone reacts, we shall now begin by rolling a fresh initiative.
And for the record, Silas Kane rolls a big 16.
Bjorg Bjornsson rolls a 10.
Fandingo the Fantastical rolls a 20.02.
Klaus Richter rolls an 11.06.
Kutharek rolls a 19.
All right, Kutharek rolls a 19. And that puts us into initiative order, which will begin with Fandingo the Fantastical. Give me a perception roll, Fandingo.
Perception is on skills. So Fandingo percepted out of 10.
That is enough to be awoken to the sounds of screaming from outside the inn. Although you cannot quite tell what sort of screams they are. Some are definitely human and in pain. The rest you don't know.
Fandingo wants to wake up the big guy with the big axe, because I am
Sword.
not going out there alone. Sword. Okay. Hey, big sexy. Yo.
Bjorg stirs in his bed and goes,
Bjorg, large-breasted
What?
women outside.
What?
I hear
I'm
screaming.
awake.
Go fix it.
Bjorg, since he woke you up on his turn, you can go ahead and give me a perception check as well.
So, Bjorg rolls a 19.
All right, with a 19 perception, you are definitely hearing the screams, and as you waken, you're wondering how on earth you managed to make it that far without being woken, because they are terrible and inhuman. The screams are echoing and shattering through the wooden walls, and while you don't have a window, you do suspect that were you able to look outside, you would find some very disturbing images awaiting you.
All right,
And
well,
that will end Fandingo's turn, which moves us to Kutharek.
And Kutharek gets an 18.
Kutharek, you are awakened by the sounds of shuffling as Fandingo is awakening Bjorg, and you pull yourself out of a sleep to realize that there are inhuman screams and screeches coming from outside the walls. And there are also human ones of pain and suffering, and you don't know what has changed in the hours you've been asleep, but you know it's not a good thing.
Yeah, so, well, I believe I'm sleeping in my armor. Kutharek is sleeping in his armor, because he can do that, because he's special. And so he's gonna grab his, mace. Who is still sleeping?
In your room, no one.
So, I say, what do you guys want to do? We need to go outside and check this out.
Right behind you, boss. Like, wait.
I will go forth and destroy.
Bjorg, head out there.
I will go.
And you will, on your turn.
My turn.
Silas Kane, you are awakened from your scratchy blankets by the sounds of perception check.
Not necessarily. Silas Kane rolls a 4, which I think means that any screams he hears are just his dreams of being tormented and tortured in the dungeons of Toreg.
You start to stir, thinking like maybe you have to get up and pee, and then you realize no, you don't deserve to pee, and you let yourself go back to sleep into your nightmares, and you will slumber for the next round. Klaus in the jail cells.
All right. Perception.
Perception.
Here we go. Klaus rolls a 17.
Klaus hears some shit going down, and I mean real close by. You hear the screams, you hear things going south, you don't know what's happening, but you know it's not a good thing.
Okay, well, I would like to reattempt to pick that lock, or well, attempt it for the first time.
Give yourself a +5 because you already had a successful sleight of hand to assess the lock.
16 plus 5, 21.
21. You pick that thing like it's nothing. You can get that done in one action. And so that leaves you actually a little bit of movement if you want. If you want to get to the edge of the door, maybe peek out.
I would like to peek out of the door.
Okay. Roll me a fresh perception check, because this is going to be something different.
2.
You start to open it.
Everything looks fine.
But you just see like red, and it looks like red tanned leather. Like you're only peeking it out just a sliver of a bit, and all you see is red tanned leather, and you don't know what that is, so you just close the door again rather than risk it. And with that, we are to Bjorg Bjorgsen.
Alright, Bjorg is going to grab his sword, basically vault out of bed, and head out the door.
Alright, if you use your entire action, you can get to the opening of the inn and look out at the end of your turn.
I will do that.
Alright, give me a perception as you step out of the doorway.
20.
Oh, Bjorg, you're going to see so much.
I've seen things.
And wish that you hadn't. Before you, in the remains of what was once the lovely town of Galfern, there are 4 devils with tails and spears, chittering and snapping about. Fire has engulfed the gate and blocks your only exit out of this walled town. Amongst the ground there are corpses of townsfolk, but you do see a few slamming doors and barring them. And with your high perception check, you notice a strange figure is standing in the center of them, looking about. I would like you to roll me a intelligence check.
Intelligence check. Well, this should be entertaining. And 6.
Bjork has a 6. It's
This
not enough to
surprises
recognize
no
it.
one.
Between the smoke from the fire and the much more attention-grabbing monsters, you see just the hazy shape of something, but it doesn't strike any memories for you. Fendingo! The giant man has bolted from the room, sword in hand, leaving you and Gutherick behind. What would you like to do?
I would like to follow the giant man with the sword, because that seems like the safest place to be.
Not a bad idea. Alright, same deal. You can get just outside of the inn with your full action, and give me a perception check.
Fendigo percepts everything with a 22 perception check.
That is quite good. You also see the monsters. You also see the small figure in the center near the well. And you may also give me an intelligence check.
I have already obviously failed an intelligence check because I am now out in a courtyard with devils and fire.
But it will be so much fun.
I have now decided that being next to the big guy with the sword is no longer the safest place to be. Fendingo's intelligence check is a 7, so yeah.
Again, you see it, but you can't quite make it out well enough to recognize it. It doesn't trip any bells.
It doesn't need to trip much. Shit's on fire.
Kutherick, you are the last one in your room. Everyone has vaulted. What would you like to do?
I'm going to head out. Kutharek is going to head out next to Bjorg on the other side.
All right,
from
same
Fendingo.
perception check.
Kutharek gets a 12.
Guthark gets a 12. That is a respectable one. That will get you the devils and the fire, but you don't notice the small shape near the well. And with that, we go to Silas, who still slumbers, dreaming of the glories of sinning for Toreg. If you would like to roll me a perception check.
Silas gets a 6.
And with a 6, Silas the Paladin is at last roused by the shrieking of devils from outside the inn.
Thank you for arousing me from my sinful slumber, Toreg.
You hear screeching. You, actually, as a paladin, I will permit a knowledge religion check to see if you can recognize what sort of screeching it is.
Silas rolls a big 19.
Silas recognizes those. Those are the screeches of a screaming devilkin. And you know there are monsters outside the inn. What would you like to do?
Silas, like, he doesn't hesitate. He grabs his bow and his quiver and he runs for it. In fact, if quite frankly, if there's if there's a window there, he might just dive out of it.
There is not windows. However, since you had to
probably-
spend time actually getting out of bed and grabbing your stuff, you cannot make it all the way to the out of the inn like the others. You will make it to the bottom floor, and we will leave you there. And with Silas stuck in the inn, waiting, it is Klaus's turn.
Okay, I guess I'll open the door a little wider and ready my bow.
Well, you don't know what's out there, so you would need to roll a perception check again first.
All right, that's a little better. Klaus gets a 17.
And roll me a stealth check.
30.
You successfully open the door without alerting the devil that is 5 feet away from you that you are opening a door. As you survey the scene and take in the monsters, the fire, and at your range, a 17 will show you the small creature near the well. Roll me an intelligence check.
Klaus rolls a 15.
Klaus successfully recognizes it as the doll that one of the children was playing with earlier in the day. Although now it is animated, its eyes glow red, and its hands are stained with blood. Whose, you don't know, but you could probably make some guesses.
Do I have any moves left or whatever?
The opening and all the scanning, you can probably make a movement if you would like.
I'll close the door. Well, no, I'll leave the door open and then duck behind the wall.
Bjorg,
Yes.
you have made it out, but as you were the first one out, your turn signals the end of y'all's surprise round when you were bursting out onto the scene. Therefore, it is time for the monsters to roll into initiative.
Chucky's gonna kill us. Chucky's gonna kill us.
Unless we got him first, which is
You got a
unlikely.
mouse in your armor, white man?
But no one intercepts. Actually, no one intercepts no one intercepts the initiative between you and Klaus, Bjorg. So
Okay.
you may take your turn.
Bjorg is going to take a quick glance around at the scene. A big psychotic grin spreads across his face, and he says, "Ooh, who dies first?" And then he proceeds to let's see here. I'm going to charge the. I think I'm actually. Let's see here. These are devils. These things are kind of tough shit. So I am going to rage and charge the nearest devil.
So you're going to go after the one in front of the potion shop. All right.
Yes.
Move and roll your attack, sir.
All right, Bjorg rushes the devil, just charges straight at it, swinging his sword, and rolls an 18 to attack and a 10 to damage.
All right. With an 18 to attack, you successfully come up upon it, skewering it with your blade, and despite the fact that it seems to be trying to push it out and shrug it off, you are capable of cleaving it in twain, dropping it to the ground as it falls dead at your feet.
Victory!
But as you celebrate the blood at the feet, a horrendous screech fills the air as a creature that was perched atop the potion shop, which none of you saw, lets out its terrible sonorous scream. And everyone, every single one of you, needs to roll me a fortitude save.
Uh-oh.
Even those of us still in the inn.
You were able to hear the screaming, which means you are able to hear his screeching.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, it was that or you guys get burned alive in the inn since you didn't get warning, so.
So Fandingo is fuckdingo. Rolling a 3.
Ouch.
Silas rolls a 19, fortifying himself against the evil.
Klaus Richter rolls an 18.
Bjorg rolls a 6.
Bjorg rolls a
And-
natural 1.
Yeah, so
And-
not good.
Kutharik the Lost rolls a 5.
All right.
Damn.
Well, everyone except for Silas Kane and Klaus Richter finds the screech just bearing through their brains and piercing them in ways they can't quite fathom, and they are unable to take action for their next turn as they are dazed. And now that it has screeched and announced its existence, it is going to take revenge for the fallen brethren as it flies down and whips a tail barb at Bjorg before landing atop another building. Bjorg, it attacks you with a 12. Is that enough to hit?
It is not.
It is not. Despite being dazed, the tail barb slaps against Bjorg's armor, ineffective and pointless.
He would be laughing very hard were it not for the fact that he's currently gripping the side of his head and going, "Ow!"
All right, Fandingo is dazed and can do nothing. Which brings us to...
That describes all of 1993.
All right, it notices that... Actually, neither of the people who've passed are in vicinity, so it's going to... So it will move slightly upward and cast a magical spell at the feet of Kutheric, in which, all of a sudden, you now know why everything is on fire. Hang on.
It's like that song. Yo, shit is on fire.
You should totally sing that as you fight.
All right, it...
I'm going to sing that as you fight. Now we're starting to understand the roles here.
I'm a very small man. It doesn't take much to engulf me in flames.
But it does have to make a successful range touch attack. Does an 18 touch attack hit you? That's where you, it's basically just 10 plus your dex.
Yeah, I've got
Alright.
an 11 armor class for touch.
Then you will take 1d3 damage, which will be 2.
Alright.
And until the spell ends, or the fire is otherwise extinguished,
My
Well,
beard is on fire.
you will also have a -2 to AC, ability checks, skill checks, and saves.
Oh,
You can
man.
use a full round action to douse the flames.
It is, after all, a mighty beard, and thus takes some time to
Indeed.
extinguish.
Yes.
And Kutheric, it is your turn. However, you are dazed and cannot take action.
I can't even put myself. I'm so dazed that I can't put out my beard. I'm like, what is going on? I'm just so confused. I don't, even though my beard is on fire. I'm like, I don't.
He would have lit someone who wasn't dazed to, minimize the amount of stuff y'all could do, but none of them were in his sight, so you got lit on fire.
All right.
On the plus side, you don't take damage again until his turn, so that's something.
I spend my round screaming and smoking and being dazed.
And once again, sounds like 1993.
I kind of set you up for that one. But...
Yeah, you teed him up real nice on that.
You keep throwing them low and slow like that, I'm going right over to Big Green Monster, baby.
Silas, it is your turn.
All right. Well, Silas is going to move out. So do I need to do a perception check?
You need to do a perception check to see what targets you can see. Some are more visible than others.
Silas gets a 14.
With a 14, you can see the monsters, the devils that are scattered about with the spears. You can notice the small creature that is in fact a doll, although you'll need an intelligence check to notice that. You can see that Bjorg has sliced one of them completely in half. You can see Kutheric smoking and burning as he grabs his head and screams. You can basically notice that everyone is grabbing their head and screaming except for you. And as you passed your knowledge religion check earlier, you are keenly aware that this is because of the pain of the screaming devilkin screeches.
Yes, and before Silas does anything, he does take some free action to turn to Kutheric and be like, "Oh, brother, perhaps if you were more faithful to Torag, you would not be burning in the fires of hell as we speak." Anyway, he gets an 11 intelligence check.
Silas pauses to add insult to injury. And then he notices that it is a small humanoid creature, but he does not realize that it is the doll that was carried earlier by a child.
Not. Why notice that when you can notice the filthy devils that are about? So if he still has his action, he only took a move action.
He only took a move, so he has an attack left.
So this devil that's by the jail, he'll shoot an arrow at. All right, Silas rolls a 16, and if that hits, that's 3 piercing damage.
A 16 will strike him, yes. However, Is your bow perhaps enchanted in any way, or your arrows special?
No.
All right then. The arrow strikes at his flesh, but to your surprise, it bounces off as if unable to penetrate the thick scaly hide, despite the fact that you can see the arrow has lodged in there. It's like it broke through the scales, but something negated the pain that should have caused.
Thank you, great Tuareg, for your lesson in humility.
And now it is those monsters' turn to attack.
God damn it.
But, Bjorg is fortunate. They have terrible move speed, so they can only get into position to fight you. They cannot actually fight you.
More targets.
But Silas shall have one approach and strike, but only one attack, with the spear against Silas. The spear strikes at you, and I'm assuming a 5 does not hit.
Not even close, and you notice the disappointment on Silas's face.
It strikes at you ineffectually and it's like, "Argh!" And it is very unhappy. Klaus, you may take an action, as you have the fortitude to resist the screech.
Okay, I got the little doll guy here, and I got 2 targets. I would like to try to shoot at the one that's engaged with Silas.
You may attempt that, but there is a chance you're going to hit his friend instead, because of the angle of your shot. And you'll actually need to leave the building to do that.
You know what? I'm just going to attack the one nearest me, because then I'll get my sneak attack bonus. I'll be within 30 feet.
Fair enough. So that would be the only one you can see from within the building and the open door is the small doll.
Oh, you know what? Then that's a good idea. I'll just stay in here and shoot him. Okay, that's an 11 plus the point blank is 1, so that's 12.
12. 12 does not succeed in hitting him.
Oh well.
The small magical nature of it avoids the arrow. And because you shot an arrow at it,
yeah,
it is now aware of your presence within the jail now.
Hello?
Would you like to move? All you've done is shoot. You can leave the jail, or you can persist there. You can even try and roll a stealth to hide within the jail.
Oh, I'll do that, because I do want to stay there. I feel a little safer.
There's a lot of stuff within it.
Alright. Rolling for stealth. 26.
Very good. We will see how that plays out on your next turn, or its next turn. Bjorg is grabbing his head in terrible, terrible pain.
Yes.
And
Skull splitting!
Now it is back to the Devilkin, who, since he is still screeching, requires a fortitude save from everyone once again. Actually, hold on one moment. I might have lied. Nope, everyone.
Alright, another fort save.
Another fort save. They die easy, but they're not, Oh my god.
Dang it.
Ouch.
Yours
Class
rolls
roll
another
3.
one.
Oh, we're all
Kutharic
fucked.
gets an 11.
Fandingo is still fucked with a 4. Ow.
That leaves only...
Yeah,
Silas already rolled
yeah,
too.
sorry, I was talking on mute. Silas's sins catch up to him, and he only rolls a 4.
Oof. You have all failed the check for this round.
TPK.
And the Devil Kid will once again fly by and try to smack Bjorg, as he is the only one who's actually damaged any of the devils. Does a 13 successfully hit you?
It does not.
Then he does nothing. That's the thing. These guys can stun pretty well, but their attacks and their defense aren't great at all.
Bjorg is just standing there going, "Ow!"
The Devilkin is the only thing that makes this fight interesting. Alright, Fandingo is...
I got a headache, bro. I'm chilling.
Is still out of it. The doll will see if it notices where Klaus has gone to. And it is unable to perceive where he is. So, however, Klaus tucked away, you cannot see what is happening.
Yes.
But if you roll me a perception check, I will give you a hint, if it's high enough.
Klaus rolls a 9.
Klaus does not notice what has happened. Kutharek is... Actually, and on the doll's turn, it is another 1d3 damage to Kutharek the Lost.
Yes.
1 damage.
God damn it, our healer's getting hit.
Yeah.
Silas is out of it, and it is time for the small monsters. The first one will launch a spear at Bjorg, who stole one of them from the world, and it is angry. It is avenging its friend. So angry.
So angry.
The next will go after Silas. Bjorg, does a 14 hit you?
It does not.
Alright. Silas, does a 13 hit you?
Nope.
And the last one shall also go after Silas.
Are those flames at the door at the doorway? What I
Klaus
did
does
notice?
not know.
Something smells smoky.
Yes, that was what you were rolling for.
Okay.
Does a 17 hit Silas?
Do we have any negatives with being dazed?
You do not, actually.
Then no. I got a massive dex.
Right,
As you said.
Archer Paladin. I always forget about that.
Where do
Okay.
you see what it takes to hit you?
It is now Klaus's turn, and if you emerge from hiding, you may have a new perception check.
I'm stunned, aren't I?
Oh, yes, you are. You are stuck in place.
Yes.
I forgot that everyone failed again. All right, which brings us to the Devilkin, and a fresh fortitude save for everyone.
Oh god, not again.
Bitch.
He can do it as a free action, so he does.
Alright, bitch.
Bjorg rolls an 8.
But not a
Fandingo
natural
the
one.
Fantastical has heard worse shit than that tuning up. And
Okay,
rolls an
guys.
18.
Silas once again disappoints Toreg and gets a 9.
Klaus rolls a 14.
Everyone except Bjorg and Silas
Catharic
shakes
rolls
off
an
the
18.
pain, and they're like, no, enough, motherfucker, enough. However, not before the Devilkin sweeps by and hits Bjorg again, because again, he is the only one who has caused any damage. He misses, again striking ineffectually, and accomplishing nothing. These guys have a +7 to hit. They really should, or he should be able to hit like almost every time. It is insane that he is just not doing that.
It's also insane that 4 of the 5 of us have failed our fort saves 2 returns in a row, so shit balances out.
Oh, they have not done any damage to anyone except Kutheric, and that was with magic.
It's alright. Excuse me while I whip this out.
Alright, well, the Devilkin took a swing at you and failed, because you just have weird barbarian luck.
Because it hit you square in the head, which is
Yeah.
pointless.
My brain is indestructible.
It's like trying to hit Homer Simpson in the head.
There is so little of it, you just can't touch it.
All you're gonna do is end up with a tired hand and a dented forehead.
At this point, maybe it'll just run out his rage.
Yes, that's 4 rounds. I have 3 rounds of rage left.
There you go. Fandingo, it is your turn. You see that Kutheric is shaking off the effects, although Silas is gripping his head. What would you like to do? Also, Kutheric is still on fire.
He's not very on fire. He'll be fine. Fandingo, he wants to cast his level 1 spell of ear-piercing scream.
Ooh, you do a substantial damage. It definitely looks hurt and angry and staring at you. But no, it is not dazed. In fact, it's almost as though these creatures are immune to such effects, which would explain why they aren't being impacted by the screeches that are filling the air.
That all makes far too much sense for a drunken fart to understand.
Indeed.
I think we're just going to stick with poop.
But you have definitely heard it. It is a little bit staggered, a little bit weaving about, and it is very, very unhappy.
Hey, dwarf, come rub your face on this thing's nuts
Which
instead of...
brings us to the doll. And 3 damage to Kutheric as he is still on fire.
Yes.
However, on that turn, the flames dissipate.
My beard is gone.
We will
You know
mourn it.
You mock you fiercely for this, right?
It has moved to here, and having seen what Fandango just did, it will cast a spell, and you will need to throw a will save, sir. Fandango. You feel
Fandingo's a 10.
You feel laughter begin to come unbidden from your mouth. First a nervous chuckle, and then more, and then you just start giggling, and you can't stop. You can't talk. You're unable to speak. Use bardic abilities. or cast any spells that rely on verbalization until this effect ends.
That's hilarious.
You can, however, still move and attack as needed.
So basically, the bard is now laughing maniacally as he attacks everything.
Pretty much.
Yep. Nailed it.
We are brothers.
Oh, God.
Kutherick, your flames have gone out. Your brain isn't filled with the symphony of 1,000 knives. What would you like to do?
Oh, man. I think I'm going to try to attack this one right in front of me here with the mace.
By all means, take a step forward and swing.
Kutharic just rolled a 5.
Thark rolled a 5, and that will not get through the defense. It does scratch off its hide as it stares at you down. But you know, they haven't hurt you guys either, so it's kind of a wash. Silas is still gripping his head in pain. The little devils, tired of not hitting any of you, kind of slip their spears onto their backs and come at you with their claws, which give them 2 attacks apiece. First one goes after Bjorg, second one after Silas, third one after Kutherick. I'm guessing an 11 and a 13 do not hit Bjorg.
Bjorg is untouched.
For the one going after Silas, he will roll a natural 1, and then he will have to roll to see if he hurts himself now. But does an 18 pierce that legendary armor?
Indeed it does.
Then you take 2 damage.
Thank you, Toreg.
For... Alright, now he has to roll a d20 real quick to see if he hurts himself. But for Kutherick, does a 14 or a 16 hit you?
16? Yeah, that hits me.
That will be 4 damage.
Man, I'm just drawing fire here. I'm doing nothing in this battle. Okay.
GM succeed, or the demon succeeds in not hurting himself with his claw for the natural 1.
I think I'm at 0 hit points now.
Okay, you only have 1 action per turn, and if you go any lower, you will drop unconscious. And Klaus, you actually have an action.
Yeah. Okay, so I would like to look at the doorway.
You notice that it has begun to burn, and the scent of smoke is definitely filling the air, as it appears that the creature just lit this building on fire since it couldn't find you.
Right. So, will I be able to safely make it through the doorway, or do I have to... what?
You can roll me an acrobatics check to try and leap over the fire.
16.
That's good enough. I'll assume, since that would have been easily clearing your jump DC, you are able to use your move action to jump directly over the fire and land outside.
Boom.
But that was your move action. So if you want to move, you can do that, or if you want to attack, you can do that, but you can't do both.
Alright, I'm going to attack since the little doll's right there.
Fair enough.
Wait, actually, that's a stupid idea. I should move since the doll's right there. Okay, how far can I move?
30 feet.
20. Alright, so I can move 30 feet, you said?
Yes, but you can't move through the well.
Alright. I want to move around the well and end up here.
Yes, you can do that. Alright, that is your turn. Bjorg, you are still in pain.
Damn.
The Devilkin has succeeded by his match because he's taken out the one guy who could actually be whipping through these things pretty easily.
Yeah, and I think my next round is after the next round I will be no longer have any rage left and I will be fatigued.
All right, well, it is the Devilkin's turn, which means fortitude saves.
God dang it!
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Do I have to do one? I'm already dazed. Kutharic.
Kuthar, the days only last for 1 round.
But I'm at 0
Bjorg
hit points.
a 16.
You're not that kind of dazed. Yes,
I'm a different kind of dazed.
Yeah, you are more like punch drunk is a good way to put it.
All right.
Silas
Bjorg
gets a
rolled-
10.
Bjorg rolls a 16.
Klaus also rolled 16.
Fandango is giggling and his fucking head hurts with a 7.
Ooh.
Kutharic gets a 21.
All right. Bjorg finally shakes off the last of that horrible crap in his head and regains strength as Silas continues to be tormented. Fandango, in the giggling, manages to succumb once again, but Klaus and Kutharic refuse, and the Devilkin sweeps by, striking at Bjorg once more. And probably failing miserably, given how he's been rolling, to be perfectly frank. He strikes with a 12 and fails again. Dude, Bjorg, you have the devil's luck, man. You should have been hit at least once or twice by now. He's just screaming and whacking you with his tail, doing not a goddamn thing.
Sounds like
My
a cat
chest
when he
isn't
wants to be fed.
vulnerable. I knew
Oh.
there
Why
was a
won't you
reason
die already?
I knew there was a reason why I drank all those protein shakes.
We just told you those were protein shakes, Bjorn.
Alright, Fandingo is dazed, but the giggling subsides. Now you're just stuck like that.
Now I have a fucking headache and I'm no longer amused. Great.
Indeed, it is truly the worst of both worlds for you.
I feel like Catharic all of a sudden.
Speaking of Catharic, he needs to give me a will save.
Will save. Kutharic gets 21.
Catharic is unaffected as the desire to giggle quickly passes.
Which happens every time Catharic has ever desired to giggle.
Exactly. Kutharic has never once given in to that desire.
Well, Catharic, you are not dazed. Oh, you are punch drunk. You
Yeah.
are not dazed. You are not stuck giggling. So if you would like to cast a healing spell, drink a potion, or just punch the dude in front of you, you can make a choice. But you can only do one thing. You can't move and act. You can move or take an action.
Heal yourself.
Well, I heal myself, and can he interrupt me from casting the spell, or is that a risk, or does the spell just work automatically?
For a divine spell, I will let you get it off because these are devils and they naturally shy away.
Okay. Kutharic casts a Cure Light Wounds and rolls a 1d8 plus 1 to get himself 9 points back hit points. So he's back at
Catharic is
minus
healed
1.
up. Well done.
One less than total.
All right. That brings us to Silas, who I believe is still dazed.
Still screaming, yep.
Which brings us to the monsters, who will again strike at you all with their claws in hopes of actually hitting someone once. Aside from Kuthric, who they did manage to hit Kuthric.
Oh, they
Yeah,
hit
I
me
took
once,
all
too.
the damage.
They hit Guthric like fairly efficiently.
Yep. First one is Bjorg, second one is Silas, third one is Kuthric.
That is not successful.
Aw, not even the 14 claw that would have done the 1 damage. Alright, Silas, I believe a 20 will hit you.
Yes, it does.
Then you will take your 1 damage from the claw.
Oh, no.
And next up is Kuthric. Kuthric, does the 13 hit you?
Ugh, yes.
That is 3, and then a natural 20, which means he needs to roll again to see if he can confirm the hit. He confirms the hit, so that doubles the damage, meaning you take 6.
Fantastic.
Bring
Have a
you
nice
back
nap.
down to 0.
Son of a bitch.
He sees you cast a heal, and he's like, "Oh God, no, I don't like that." He
And
stabs
it gets
you with
me
his
right back
finger
down to
dagger.
0 again. I'm like a cartoon character here. I get, my,
These things are just like fuck dwarves, man.
Yeah.
I get my beard burned off, and then I get... fine.
Kuthric
Okay.
is not having a great day. I think I'm starting to see why Kuthric is such a sad sack all the time.
He's always pissed off because this is his life. This is his luck.
Normally, I'm supposed to stand in front of him.
Yeah.
The screaming makes it hard. All right, Klaus, you are up.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I see Kuthric's being taken down pretty bad. I'm gonna shoot the one attacking him. All right, Klaus rolls a 13.
A 13 will successfully hit.
5 points of damage.
Your arrow strikes the monster's flesh, but again, it seems to, though it gets through the scales, it just falls aside, as if somehow it didn't quite do the damage it was meant to.
Oh shit.
Which brings us to Bjorg, who is finally free of the screeching, and has a monster directly in front of him.
How accommodating. Alright, Bjorg's gonna pull his blade out of the ruined carcass of the one he previously slew and just take a straight up chop at the guy in front of him. And rolls a 21.
That will successfully hit.
18.
Ballsack.
You want some of this?
Bjorg successfully rears back, strikes it directly on the neck, slicing upward into the brain matter, and basically just turns the head into mist as it drops, dead, twitching, lifeless, skull removed so quickly it didn't even have time to register its own demise. And now
That
it is the
was
Devilkin's turn, which means
Oh, suck.
fresh fortitude saves.
Damn it.
Fuck. Silas rolls a
Suck
9,
it,
so
Devilkin.
just keeps on holding his head.
Bjorg rolls a 19.
Fendingo rolls a 19 and flips off the Devilkin.
Klaus rolls a 16.
Which only leaves poor Kutharek.
Dark gets a 7.
Saw that one coming.
Uh,
You know you're rolling a 20, not a D8, right?
I just hit the fortitude.
Yes, brother. Stand with me and allow Toreg to punish us both.
It's alright. Now the glorious murder can commence.
Very well. Fendingo, you have full use of your faculties once again. You are not giggling. You are not dazed.
Okay, well, this thing that's immobilizing everybody is bad, so I would want to countersong.
Okay, so this will not save anyone from this round, but if your perform check is high enough, everyone within 30 feet of you can use it to negate the effect next turn.
Okay, so
Roll me a
I
perform
roll
check.
a perform check for Sing. Fendingo sings a 13.
Everybody who talks shit about bards, he just made it so almost everyone in the party is going to automatically pass next round.
Thank God.
The only person who's going to no, everyone in the party will auto pass next round. Okay.
So I shut down the screaming thing, and I still kind of mock the beardless dwarf.
The beardless dwarf, he looks so dumb, so dumb, so dumb.
Exactly
All of
like
those
that.
things.
Okay, well, this thing does not like what you just did, so it's going to come to here, and Fendingo, roll me a will save.
Well, this is going to suck.
Devils work together.
It's not our fault they're all smarter than us.
That's not hard.
Fair enough.
They're not smarter than me when I'm not dazed or on fire.
Yeah, but when does that ever come up?
Granted, that situation hasn't come up yet.
So Fendingo saves at a 14.
Fendingo feels the giggle fit try and come over him, but pushes it down and continues to sing.
And he continues to rock!
Kutharek, you are dazed.
Fantastic.
Silas, you are dazed. Monsters, there are only 2 of them. And they will first one goes at Silas, second one goes at Kutharek. Silas, does a 19 hit you?
Yes, it does.
3 damage. Alright. Does a 14 hit you, Kutharek?
Just assume that everything is going to hit me.
You might want to invest in better armor.
Yeah, seriously. Yes, it hits me.
Rolling to confirm for the crit, you take
Oh, Jesus.
4 damage.
Yeah, I'm unconscious.
Yes, that puts you at -4, actually.
Yeah.
And on your turn,
Rest well, brother, and dream of Toreg.
and on your turn, we will have to deal with that. So,
I can probably sing and put a band-aid on something at the same time.
Klaus, it is your turn. You are unaffected.
Alright, my arrows weren't doing dick for hitting those devils, so I will attempt to shoot the bird creature thing. What is that?
It's a winged devil.
A winged devil.
It's actually
All right,
a
let's see.
devilkin.
Okay, here we go. Alright, I rolled Klaus rolled a 10.
A 10 will not hit.
Okay.
You whiff your arrow through the air, and it doesn't even dodge. It literally just flaps it away. But it brings us to Bjorg, who is still standing and in control of his facilities.
He is also fatigued, however.
Ooh.
So he's now lost all the benefits of his rage and is down to a 16 strength. Bjorg is going to move over to. Can I get to the devil threatening Kutharek, or can I only get to the one threatening Silas?
You can get there, but without charge, walking up to an opponent is going to be entering a threatened square, which means you're going to take 1 attack of opportunity. If you try and get to the one against Kutharek, you're going to take 2.
Let's see here. I'm gonna go for the one. Bjorg is gonna basically walk up to the one threatening Silas in the hopes of, figuring that getting there will divert their attention.
Go ahead and roll your attack. I don't think his attack
okay.
of opportunity is going to bring you down.
Alright,
Yeah, a 9
so-
doesn't hit you.
Bjorg basically trudges over there as quickly as he can, hefts his sword in an exhausted fashion, and rolls a 9.
You, after misting the last guy, you just find the fight has gone out of you, and you take a half-hearted swing, and it does exactly what you think it does. It just kind of clanks off the heavy hide, and the monster snickers at you.
Hey, demon, pay attention to me, the orc says.
And that brings up the Devilkin, who is going to make he's going to screech, but since everyone is within 30 feet of the bard, they do not need to roll fortitude checks because they are automatically succeeding with his awesome 13 perform.
Rockstar bitches.
And it is, the Devilkin is going to do another swoop attack at Bjorn, and then perch up on a new roof. Haha! And he finally hits you for 2 points!
Ow!
He slaps at your back and just takes a few bloody gashes.
The orc just kind of looks at him and goes, "Is that the best you've got?"
Yes, it is. It's the first time he's hit you.
Do not antagonize the hell beast, Big Sexy.
Fandingo, it is your turn.
Fandingo's more a lover than a fighter, so as I boogie and, riff a little, maybe have a nice guitar solo, can I move over and patch up the unconscious dwarf who's had the bejesus knocked out of him? I can't use a passive action and, put a band-aid on him?
I don't believe that using your bardic, starting it is a percent. Oh, it can be maintained as a free action.
Yeah, it can be maintained as a free action.
Okay. I do need a fresh perform check, though.
Okay. I could start to suck.
Yes, that is the thing.
I reserve the right.
You can keep it going, but it doesn't guarantee you're still going to have the automatic success power.
Oh, I think we're good because Fandingo makes it to the chorus. Take it to the chorus at a 25.
Woo! Fandingo is pushing back that noise. The
Raising
Devilkin
the roof,
is
baby.
screaming and yelling and screeching, but Fandingo, his fingers are dancing along the lute, just pushing that noise back.
I
He's
got
defeating-
blisters on my fingers.
He's defeating the devil with the power of rock.
He literally is doing that, yes.
Word.
Alright, Fandingo, move over to behind Kutheric and cast your healing spell.
Well, it's more like a healing. I was just going to do a healing skill check.
That is not the same as magical healing.
Yeah, I don't have magical healing.
Then you can try and stabilize him.
Okay.
I believe is going to be your best shot there.
Don't let me bleed out, man.
Yeah, I'll pee on you or something. It'll cauterize things.
Okay.
Is that like a heal skill check?
There's a healing skill, and you would just roll it like a check.
And Fandingo rolls a 14 for his heal check to try and keep Kutharic from dying like a beardless little bitch. Not that I'd ever say that or anything.
While I'm conscious.
Right.
All right, you are unsuccessful at stabilizing him.
What?
Wait, hang on, let me double check. Yep, you are unsuccessful. There's a very firm DC for what it takes to stabilize someone, and he fell short of it.
That happens.
It does.
Our dwarf is
So-
bleeding out.
All right,
Cannot let our dwarf die.
the doll is going to point at you again, Fandingo, and try and fight your power of rock. I need a
I
will
got
save.
something pointed right back at you, Dolly.
We need some guitar riffs for this.
Yes, because right now he does a Wayne and Garth guitar solo and saves with a 17.
As the doll gestures toward Fandango, casting another bit of magic, Fandango leans down, rears back, and lets out an awesome rock ballad that literally knocks the spell away.
Fandingo pours some sugar on me, baby.
This is the first time I've ever seen a bard just kicking ass in rolls. And making a big difference. Like, that autosave is huge. Alright, Kutheric, roll me a constitution save.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, it's a 5.
You have failed, and you are now at -5 as your wounds
Woohoo.
continue to bleed.
Yep, I'm bleeding.
Alright.
Your spleen is literally on my fingers, bro.
Silas, you finally have an action!
All right, he takes a 5-foot step back. As a swift action, he's getting tired of this little thing just flying around and just screaming. So he's going to activate his smite power, and then we will let loose with a rapid shot of arrows. So that's 2 shots coming in, and if these hit, these bypass all damage reduction.
Whoa,
Drew,
whoa. What now? What is the
Oh,
skill
yeah.
for that?
It's smite.
Yeah.
Smite. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay.
So
Please tell me you're shooting at the big roof thing.
Yes, I'm shooting at the roof thing.
He gonna reach out and touch somebody.
So I guess my first. Well, okay. Let me see if I hit him first.
A 20 will hit. A 20
All right.
Got
will hit.
The
him.
second one is a 17.
That will not hit.
Okay, so only one.
One hit.
Is he what you would call an evil outsider?
Yes, as a devil, I would say he's definitely an evil outsider.
Okay then. And he eats 5.
So 5 total.
And if I recall correctly, the benefits of that smite last until the target is dead or you cancel it.
Exactly.
Which is what are the benefits of the smite? That it negates his damage reduction.
Yes.
I get some pluses, and any attacks I shoot pretty much go through his damage.
Nice. Okay. Well, he took 5 damage. He is still up and flying, but he's pissed, and he is no longer looking at Bjorg for the first time. Okay, which brings us to our 2 monsters. This one, the one that is in front of Kuthrik, is going to take a step over to attack Silas, because it thinks Kuthrik is already dead. So first set of attacks go after Bjorg, second attack after Silas.
Oh, and my armor class goes up too.
Nice. Against everyone or just...
Just that guy.
Bjorg's luck continues to hold. He will roll to see if he hurts himself in a minute. And Silas, a 7 and a 12. Do either of those hit you?
Nope.
They do not. All right, let me roll to see if the natural 1 my guy rolled hurts himself. It does not. So they claw ineffectually at your armor, and that is the end of their turn. Klaus, it is your turn, sir.
Okay, Klaus. I guess Klaus will attack the winged devil again. I'm gonna test out my new macro. All right, Klaus rolls an 8.
All right, Klaus misses, but valiantly so.
Yeah.
Would Klaus like to move, or is he good in his position?
No, I'm happy where I am.
Fair enough. Bjorg, monsters to the front of you, monsters to the left. That's pretty much it that, are directly in front of you.
Bjorg is stuck in the middle with them.
Stuck in the middle with you.
And one of them, the one directly in front of you, is actually injured.
Alright, he's gonna target that one, heave back with his blade despite his exhausted arms, and rolls a 14.
A 14 against that creature will strike. Roll for damage, good sir.
Alright, hauls back, smack, and 13 damage.
Again, it is cleaved into chunks as you drop the weight of the sword through its flesh, sending it into scattered bits.
Bjorg throws back his head and screams, "Even exhausted as I am worth more than you!"
He's with me, by the way. He and I are a team. We work together.
I don't know whose blood this is, if it's the beardless dwarf lady, or if it's the thing that Big Sexy just chopped into bits. But it's disgusting!
Sorting it out later is part of the fun.
Bjorg, by the way, is just dripping in blood at this point. Like, he is coated head to toe in demon goop.
She said.
Alright, and it is the Devilkin's turn, and it continues to screech, but the power of rock drives it back, and it's ineffectual, as it will now do a swoop attack on Silas before landing on the inn. And it will probably continue to roll terrible, because that is all it knows how to do. Oh, a natural 20. It hits. It shall roll again to confirm, and double its 1 damage. Yeah, he's not here for damage. He's here for the screaming.
I'm just here for the chicks.
Actually, that would be a 21, so that will, I believe, still... Wait, what is your new AC, Silas, with the smite bonuses?
It's 20.
Okay, 21 will hit you then, so you take 2 damage instead of 1.
That is whittling me down.
That's critical.
Yeah, that was his critical. That could have been bad. That could have been 8, but he rolled a 1 on his damage, so that is what it is. All right, and the screech does nothing because Fandingo passed you guys already. Which brings us to Fandingo. If you're going to keep playing, I need a fresh perform check.
If we're going to keep whooping ass, I better keep playing. And Fandingo slows down into a power ballad with a 16.
All right, the power of rock has lessened, but it is still driving back those screams.
We got a little old school White Snake going on.
Would you like to try and heal the dwarf again?
May as well. I'm certainly not going to fight anything.
You are doing so much more for this party by not fighting right now.
Me
I'm
too.
telling you, I'm just here for the chicks.
It's honestly a toss-up between you or Bjorg for MVP on this fight.
I'm doing nothing at all.
I got a 12 on a heal check, so I am still covered. So I may have commingled the demon blood with the dwarf blood. Sorry, dwarf lady.
You have successfully failed to stabilize the dwarf.
I am the Radar O'Reilly of this MASH unit, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, it is the doll's turn, and it's going to try to stop your awesome music again. So roll me a will save, Fandingo.
Somebody needs to bust up old Chucky over here. Will save. Fandingo probably fails his will save with a 7.
Oh, that awesome ballad begins to falter as he starts laughing and laughing and laughing. And all of a sudden, those screeches are getting loud again, and you can all hear them. But the power of Fandingo does still tide you over until the next time you have to roll. But Fandingo's magic is no longer in effect.
He's somehow reverted to thinking about things like Mr. Big and Winger as opposed to AC/DC.
Kuthra, roll me a, what do you call it? Constitution check.
Working on it. Oh,
Jesus.
why do I bother to roll anything? Kutharic?
You are very lucky. This is one of the few times I don't count natural ones against you, because it's already a shit
I
situation.
would just be dead.
Yeah. I don't feel like you should auto die from a bad roll, so I don't.
No.
You're still at -6. You still don't advance, but you aren't dead.
I think it's time for some doll fucking.
All right, Silas.
And that's what she said.
You have a monster in front of you and a winged demon overhead, and the screeches are getting loud again now that the magic of the bard is fading.
What I was saying was I take the 5-foot step and I do another rapid shot at this guy.
Go for it, man.
All right. So first shot is a 13, which I think you said was a miss.
That is a miss.
And second is a 15. So he
Also
just
a miss.
shooting arrows, flipping everywhere except the monster.
You have a pretty
You're
good shot at
shooting
hitting this
blanks
guy
at
if you
creature.
roll over 10. If you roll over 10.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I haven't rolled over 10 in the last hour and a half.
Yeah.
You and Catharic, baby.
All right.
You and Catharic.
Getting all my low rolls out early in the game.
This one is not sure who to attack, but it just watched Bjorg turn one of its friend into chunks. So it's going to attack Bjorg with its claws. Its pointless, ineffectual, shitty claws. To be fair, though, think of how this fight would be going if these guys could actually hit.
Or us.
Yeah.
16.
Does a 16 hit Bjorg?
Is it a touch attack?
No, it is a claw attack.
Then no, it does not.
Alright, he scratches your armor, and you meet his eyes. And this demon knows he gonna get it. He gonna get it soon. Klaus, it is you!
Please kill
All
the
right,
doll.
Klaus is going to move 5 feet so he can be in his point blank range, and then he's going to attack that bird thing again,
Alright,
or the winged devil. 23.
that will hit.
Yes.
All right.
Roll damage.
So damage is going to be D6 plus another D6 because of a sneak attack, right?
No, you are standing very clearly out in the open. You are not sneaking attacking.
Okay, so D6 anyway. And Klaus rolls a 4.
That's pretty good. Your arrow whizzes through the air, stabbing into the monster's flesh. And unlike the others, you notice that when it strikes true and wounds.
All right, I contributed.
Bjorg, it is your turn.
Alright, I know that I'm in danger of eating an attack of opportunity for this, but I'm thinking I'm gonna mosey on over to the doll and start bashing it.
Okay, you are going to... Well, actually, if you free 5 foot down and then walk straight... Oh, no, yeah, you get one from the doll. So, yeah, you will eat one attack of opportunity.
I'm doing it anyway because this thing needs to die.
Fair enough. They do work as a team. All
Yeah,
right.
dude, that doll is being all dissonant with my groove.
All right. It will attack you with a slam. Does an 18 hit?
An 18 does hit.
All right. Then you will take 3 damage
Ow!
as it just rears back and pops you good.
I hope you enjoyed that because that's the only shot you're going to get. 24.
Oh man, you're not gonna lose. That actually does not. No, fuck with you. That definitely is. That would be some shit.
He's gonna.
Whoa, Bo. That was a natural 20. Roll another 20.
5.
Okay. Well, the good news is you can't critical fail on confirmation hits. So you hit, but you don't get any bonus damage.
That's fine. All right.
All of us, he needs the bonus damage the least.
12 damage.
You were so close. You cleave down and slice the shit out of this thing, but it is still standing. It is hanging by a thread, but it is still standing.
I hate dolls.
It flips you of the porcelain bird. Alright, and with the power of rock subdued, I'm afraid everyone else is going to have to give me some fortitude saves.
Oh, Klaus gets a 20.
Son of a demon fuck.
Jorg rolls a 12.
Fendingo's fortuitous guitar solo renders a 15.
Silas is once again cursed by his god, with an 8.
For Silas, being cursed by his god is a good thing.
Oh yeah, he's enjoying the pain.
Nice.
The rest of us, not so much.
Okay, so far everyone is passing except for Silas, and we're still waiting for Kuthrik.
Who is
Hang on.
unconscious, isn't he?
He is unconscious, but I think he's still susceptible. Actually, Kuthrik, we'll go ahead and say you still get your Constitution saving throw regardless. You don't have to roll.
Okay.
That would just be mean.
Yeah.
Well,
I gotta pass a roll to get my...
All right, the Devilkin
shouldn't
is
be
going
affected.
to swing attack Silas. So Devilkin Barb, and he's perched up on the building once more. Swoops down, smacking you with his tail to try and hit you with a 12, and fails miserably.
Who's he attacking?
Silas.
Okay.
So everybody except Silas saved. Okay, that brings us to Fandingo. Now, since your bardic music stopped, if you want to start it again, that is going to be a new standard action.
Yeah. So I can do a free action and a standard action, right?
Correct.
So I can take
You can do a free, a move, and a standard.
so I can certainly do a get out of arm's reach of this frickin' thing.
Yes, you can do a free 5-foot there.
And then I can do a perform check to sing.
Correct. You can re-invoke the power of rock.
Yes, please.
Jim Morrison himself rises from the well, and the Lizard King reigns again. Fandingo has rolled a 27.
Fandango begins to play once more, and as you listen, you hear, it sounds like thunder in the sky, but that can't quite be right. No, it's drums. It's a bitchin' drum solo coming to back up a performance of this magnitude.
I am the love child of John Bonham and Keith Moon, and we better have listeners over 40, or they're not going to get those references.
He is just bent over that lute, just shredding the shit out of it. The Devilkin's actually like putting its hands over its eyes. The power of rock is blowing so severely against it.
If I have any further action, I flip off the doll who shit on my solo last round.
All right. As much as the doll would love to attack you again, it does not want to die, so it's going to try and take down Bjorg.
Good luck, Chucky.
So it's going to roll 2, and then it adds 2 to both of these. Let's see if these hit. They probably won't. All right, 15, I'm sure fails, and a natural 1. Let's see if he hurts himself. Oh god, that would be the fucking dumbest thing.
It could kill himself.
It could. It can happen, man. If
He
you
could
roll
totally
a natural
fall
1 and
down.
get below a 5, you're going to hurt yourself. All right, he doesn't hurt
I'll be right
himself,
back.
but he doesn't do shit. All right, Silas is dazed. Last monster is going to go after Silas. Does a 12 or a 14 hit Silas?
Nope.
All right, that did nothing. Hey, Rob.
All right.
Hey, hang on. Rob, did you come back?
I'm back.
Okay, give me your Constitution save. -7!
Kuthara gets an 8. I'm at -7.
You weren't -7. All right, Klaus,
All right.
take the
Klaus
shot.
is gonna take the shot at the winged devil again.
10 does not hit.
Okay. I'm hanging out.
Bjorg.
Oh, it's time to kill some dolls. Alright, let's see here. Alright, Bjork's gonna haul back, scream borderline incoherently at the child's toy that's giving him so much trouble, and rolls a 19.
That will hit. And your damage is irrelevant because it had 1 hit point left.
Die, you piece of porcelain!
You slam the flat of your blade down and just crush it into blood and splinters.
Dolls shouldn't bleed.
That's the name of my next album. Blood and Splinters. Because
Bjorg,
doll parts is taken.
Bjorg, if you would like to move, you still do have that action.
Yeah, I'm gonna rush over to the monster threatening Silas, and at this point he's past talking. He's just basically going.
Okay, you are... Alright, you rush over, and it is the Devilkin's turn. However, the power of rock has pushed its screams away. So all it can do is do a swoop flying down to strike at Silas and then land on a building again. And it will strike ineffectually with its... Oh, shit! It hit! I'm guessing a 21 hits.
Yeah.
Alright, 2 damage.
Coming down to the wire here.
Fandingo! Oh, yes. Your rock has again pushed it away, giving everyone the ability to move on their round.
Except for
Dance
Cathar.
Have my groupies shown up yet?
Did you not hear me say that the skies were filling with the sound of thunder in the form of drums?
Groupies.
Yeah.
Not roadies.
No, they have not.
Damn it, where's the dancing girls? Fendingo's going to sing and keep singing.
Alright.
And,
Probably try and stabilize the dwarf.
sure, we'll try that, because I don't actually have any weapons other than a pair of brass knuckles, because I was really poor. And I could afford a loot.
There you go.
When I left the last town, with
Alright.
nothing but the loot on my back.
Give me a perform check and a heal check. Well, you definitely don't heal him with a 4.
I don't. I hope I didn't do any more damage.
It's not a 1.
And the perform check we move into. At this point, we move it into the greatest hits of Heart in our catalog, and I'm shredding Barracuda with a 21.
You can play with the best of them, but you can't put a fucking Band-Aid on this dwarf.
I mean, to be fair, he's basically just rocking the fuck out and then, like, trying to slap a Band-Aid on the dwarf while he's doing it.
If it were a contest to play like a motherfucker and snort a line off a dwarf chick's boobs, I got that shit covered. But bandages? That's what the stage manager's for.
Alright, the doll is dead, which brings us to Gutheric. Constitution check!
Why do I bother?
The DC for this is 10, man.
I'm gonna take a vote that Kuthrik's avatar for the next session be Eeyore.
Yeah. I'm not even giving you the negative since y'all are at first level. Yes!
19.
Finally!
Stop bleeding.
Kuthrik is at -7, and he shall go no lower.
Yeah, that's right.
But
I
he
stopped bleeding.
But he is still stuck at -7. All right,
And he's the
Silas,
only healer.
you can move.
All right, 5 foot, and Torek, please guide my hand and make me not roar like shit on this motherfucking system. 2 more.
Torek says what?
An 11 and a 12. So I'm changing religions next game.
Yeah.
Torek doesn't approve of your goddamn potty mouth, pal.
The nutty thing is, like, you two should both be able to hit each other, and it's just become this measuring contest of no one can do shit. Okay, the last of the random claw monsters is still around, so he will go after Bjorn in a futile attempt to kill him before Bjorn turns him into putty.
This ought to be amusing.
Which, short of multiple natural 20s, I'm pretty sure, he's gonna die, but he's going down. Holy shit!
Damn!
Okay, so he gets a 20 and 4 damage. I'm assuming that will hit Bjorg.
Yes, that will hit.
Alright, and then he gets a 21, which is a natural 20. So minimum 4 damage. He's going to roll again to try and confirm the hit, which has a very low chance of succeeding, by the way.
Don't say that.
It's true. They never hit you. What are the... see? And he gets an 8, which is a 9, which does not break. So another 4 damage. So you take total of 8 that round.
13. Okay, so I have 1 hit point left.
Welcome to the club.
6 writers trying to do basic math. This is going to take a year.
So basically,
Yeah,
we're going to come down to a thief and a bard with no weapons.
However,
brass
if I
knuckles, fuck off.
if I pulp this thing, then we're in better shape.
Only if you're going to throw the unconscious dwarf at the other thing.
Well, okay, fair.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's
Which
the
is
first
an
time I've
option.
seen it. Klaus, end this flying monster.
All right, I'm gonna try. Here we go. 14.
Miss. This is the one
Wait a
guy
minute.
with actual AC.
Maybe you should come try to heal the dwarf.
Oops. Nope.
I should be hitting. I've got this 23 dex.
Yeah, again, if you people would roll over 10s, you would have a real good shot. All right, Bjorg, it is your turn.
All right, let's finish this flying, ground-bound fucker who just hurt me. All right.
Yeah, he did.
Let's-
He hurt the shit out of you.
Yeah, he did. So Bjorg is beyond making any kind of bold statements and is simply going to take a swing for 19.
That will hit.
All right.
Splat.
And he rolls damage with a snarling 11.
And that will slice it neatly in half. Man, DR isn't even coming into play with you and these guys. Okay.
Never underestimate
Have you killed every monster on the field so far?
He has. He has killed every monster on the field so far.
Never underestimate the power of sheer stupidity and unbridled aggression.
Although
Okay,
Silas
next round, just throw your damn axe at this stupid flying thing, because you have a better shot than me.
We've seriously been in this fight for 2 hours, and I have yet to make an attack roll, and that.
No, you did. You blasted that thing with sonic damage.
Oh, that's right. But I didn't have to roll to hit.
No, you didn't. All right, the Devilkin comes, and the power of rock drives its music back, but it still leaps off, swoops down, and slaps at Silas with its tail, as it can still feel the burning holy smite power coursing through it, and it does not like that at all. He's very unhappy. 14 probably doesn't hit, though.
Nope.
All right, Fendingo.
Jamming, babe.
I'm going to assume you're going to roll that perform check to keep that music alive.
We're going to roll that perform check for our Bob Marley segment. Ooh, and reggae doesn't get us there.
Shit.
Bandingo rolls a 12.
And it is a significant drop in goodness. The clouds clear, the drums stop, the magical aura of it dissipates, but it is still, and I mean just barely, just by a few notes, driving back the screech of the Devilkin.
Buffalo Soldier.
You literally hit the DC right on the head.
I think it's more like Billy Ray Cyrus there.
Yeah.
It's like Billy Ray Cyrus covering Bob Marley, which is worse.
You got
So-
too into your shredding, and you just went off on a tangent, and you tried to play some original shit, and it did not go well. It's
I got all into this whole Fish, Humphreys, McGee kind of jam, and it just wasn't. The crowd wasn't feeling it, man. I'll need to go back into the shitter on the tour bus, do a little bump of the Bolivian marching powder, and get right for the next round. But
That's
I
a
can
lot of
also-
references.
I did a lot of rock and roll in my youth. Long time as a lighting designer. Let's see if I can heal the. Do I need to try and heal the dude? Because I failed
No,
again.
he's
there's
stabilized.
not. Yeah, he's stabilized, and there's not
Stable.
much you're gonna be able to do.
Certainly not with that 12.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna hang out and play and try to,
I
get the
think
crowd behind me again.
You're keeping people able to move and take actions. That is what's keeping y'all in the fight.
I'd love it if you guys would shoot this bird.
Kutheric is stable, and that's about all he can do. Silas, you've got your actions.
Yeah, at this time he's just like, yeah, if there are any gods listening.
And there aren't.
Oh,
Okay.
one.
An 11
one.
and a 19.
The 19 hits. So.
Oh,
Is
so
that
that's well, it's 7 plus 1, so that's 8 damage.
all right? As your first arrow goes completely astray, you mutter a curse under your breath, and you are prepared to just give up on religion as a whole. When you whip the next arrow out, and a breeze hits it, and it flies directly through the Devilkin's throat, up into the skull, and pierces out the back, sending it tumbling to the ground, clearly dead on impact.
Victory!
And now, I would like everyone to roll me perception checks.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, this should be a laugh riot.
God, most of us are doing good to notice that the thing's dead.
Silas rolls a 2, so he doesn't even
He
is
is not aware that he hit the thing.
He is triumphantly screaming at the dead devil.
Bjorg rolls an 8 and promptly says, "I have no idea."
Fandingo is lost in the music, baby, with a 10. I'm jamming.
Klaus rolled 19.
And Kutheric is unconscious. All right. Fandingo and Klaus can both notice that in the turmoil of battle, the fog of smoke around you, and the heat from the already lit fires, you didn't really notice, but the fires have spread. They've caught the wooden walls and are making their way around you, sealing you in, and several of the buildings have begun to smoke and sizzle as well. And that is where we're going to cut game for this week.
Authors and Dragons is brought to you under a Creative Commons license, meaning you are free to share this material so long as credit is given to the original creators, which is us, the people who are playing it. The opening music, Take a Chance, and closing theme, Master of the Feast, are both credited to Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com and also used under a Creative Commons license.